In reference to those individuals before the flood, how were they saved? Follow-up question, where did they go after they died? As far as I can understand, Abraham's bosom wasn't created at that time. So the question is, those individuals who are before the flood, how did they get saved? Look with me at Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Now, while you're turning there, I'll mention the conventional thinking. The conventional thinking is that everyone in time past was saved looking forward to the cross, just as today we are saved looking backwards to the cross. That's the way it's often said. And the idea of that is everyone is saved the same way. They all believed the same thing. Is that true? Did Noah understand everything that you can understand today? I mean, how is that? That just doesn't even make any sense, right? Noah did not have the New Testament. He did not have Paul's writings. Obviously, the understanding he had was different. Look with me at Hebrews 11, verse 1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Notice verse 2. For by it the elders obtained a good report. How did people get justified in time past? Faith. Isn't that clear? They weren't saved by works. For by it, and the it is clearly faith, the elders obtained a good report. So were people in time past saved by faith? And the answer is clearly they were, Hebrews 11, verse 2. Verse 3. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. That tells you that the universe was created out of nothing. See that? The things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. It didn't exist and then God created it. Notice verse 4. By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. Look at verse 5. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found because God had translated him. For before his translation he had this testimony that he pleased God. Skip down to verse 7 just for a minute. By faith Noah, being warned of God of things not seen, not seen as of yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. Look at verse 8. By faith Abraham. Verse 20. By faith Isaac. Verse 21. By faith Jacob. Verse 22. By faith Joseph. Verse 23. By faith Moses. So let me ask you a really tricky question. How were people justified in time past? By faith. I mean, it's more than obvious, for by it the elders obtained a good report. All of them were justified by faith. But when you read those verses, did they all perform the same actions? They all did different things, didn't they? What that tells you is the revelation given to them was different. Did Abel have the Old Testament law? No. Did Abel have an ark that he needed to repair? No. But the revelation given to Abel told him that a blood sacrifice was required. And therefore, he brought a blood sacrifice, and he was justified. He was declared righteous by his faith. Enoch did something else. Noah, what did Noah do? Prepared an ark and so on. Let me give you this illustration. If I say to you, and I really hope this doesn't happen, if I say to you, the ceiling is going to collapse in 10 seconds, and you say, we believe you, Dave, because we believe everything you say. You're always right. We believe you. And you don't move, and you sit there and you twiddle your thumbs. Do you really have faith in what I just said to you? You don't. If you really believed it, you would rush out, right? When you have faith in the revelation that is given to you, you perform what that revelation tells you to do. So, for example, could someone during John the Baptist's ministry say to him, John, I believe your message. I believe you're preaching about Jesus Christ, but I don't feel led to be baptized. Does that person really have faith? He doesn't, because the content of the gospel of the kingdom is that you have to be water baptized to be justified. Mark 16:16, he that believeth and is baptized shall be saved. So if you say to John the Baptist, I believe what you're saying, John, but I just don't feel like getting water baptized, you are rejecting his message. So the short answer is this. Everyone throughout time, they are all saved by faith. No one is ever saved by works. No one can ever perform enough works to please God. You could never perform enough good works to outweigh your sin. You just can't do it. You're always justified by faith, no matter where you are on the timeline. But the content of what you believe is different at different times because the revelation is different. So that's how individuals before the flood were saved. Now the next question is, where did they go after they died? As far as I can understand, Abraham's bosom wasn't created at that time. So that's an interesting question. There was no Abraham before the flood, right? So they couldn't have gone to Abraham's bosom at that time. I suspect that what happened, you can decide for yourself, is that Abraham's bosom is the name given to the paradise where all the Old Testament saints are, and it's called Abraham's bosom now. At that point, it was called Adam's bosom or Cain's bosom or Abel's bosom. So the point is, it's called Abraham's bosom, but it existed before then because there had to be a place for the blessed to reside, a paradise of some sort. So that's the answer to that.